Yo, yo, Tony D back with part 4 of 5. The more I read this, the better it gets, and the more appreciation for the art that I have. Issue 1, I was just finding my way visually, and this is about where I peak. It reflects the tone of the writing. Grant Morrison, of course, doing the writing. Klaus Janson on the pencils. Excellent job. The quote in the beginning, it's very telling, and it's from The Hangman's Tale. That's just something, if you get the book, check those out in the front. We won't get too deep into those, but they're really interesting quotes. We start off, this issue, it continues with the tale of Mr. Whisper. We know now that he's an immortal killer. He's made that Faustian bargain to escape death. And it's pretty horrific. It's deeply scripted into Gothic horror, and there's a lot of blending of religious symbolism, and there's even psychological trauma related with Batman's childhood, part of his childhood. And the noir grit is captured beautifully with Janson's pencils. You know, that it's moody, it's textured, and it captures that eerie tone that Grant's going for, and he captures it perfectly. About here where things start clicking and coming together. This is great. This is a very, I'm saying typical, I'm downplaying it, but it's, you know, how Batman just appears, and it even has a mystical flavor with this setup. And also, children are not to be threatened. That actually means something in here, and you'll find out later as we go, but we know that's a code of Batman because of how he was created, his origin. This is another one of the gangsters, Morgenstern, and he's talking about Mr. Whisper. Mr. Whisper's been knocking these guys off, and they tell you why later on. And Batman pays him a visit. Great shot there. I love the sketchiness. It really matches. That's what I'm talking about, that edgy, that tension in the penciling that really captures the vibe of what Morrison was going for. Batman pretty much tells Morgenstern, hey, Whisper didn't kill the other guy in issue, I believe it was 3. It was actually this guy, but that's just really the nature of the mob business. Batman's really using that, holding it up against him. We can find out more about Mr. Whisper, and then we get into this flashback sequence. And what was going on is they were finding victims, young victims, and the police were all over the place, which is not good for the mob. The mob decides, hey, we're going to figure this out on our own, and they find Mr. Whisper, and later on they explain why he's doing this. This issue tells you a lot. It's a big reveal issue. They open up on him, and it ain't happening. He's not dying. They even have a guy go at him with an axe. And the way Morrison describes it, it's poetic of a killing, attempted killing, that it's just, it's great writing. You need to get this issue and read it. Grant Morrison is on point. And they even tie an anchor around Mr. Whisper's neck and throws him in water. I found that interesting, throwing him in water, because he's made a deal with the devil. At the end of that deal, you know, his soul is forfeit. It's 300 years, nothing can kill him, and then after that, the devil claims his soul. But being in water like that, it also made me think of purgatory before you go to hell, just being in nothingness. They don't tell you exactly when he gets out of that. He does get out, of course, and dude's begging. And reason why he's begging is he did receive a note from Mr. Whisper, and it's one of those poetic notes. And we're getting more of a reveal here. We're down in the detective roots of Batman, which blends well into this. It's that noir element. Batman found a map in Austria. Hey, shout out to my buddy from Austria. Hopefully he'll chime in. I found that pretty cool that there's Austrian here, and I've got a friend there. Maybe he's watching. Shout out to Christian. He starts talking about the term Gothic, meaning magical. He's putting the pieces together that there is a magical, mystical element going on that he's dealing with. He found some architectural plans for a cathedral, and he matches them up to the cathedral in Gotham, and it's a perfect match. He's trying to piece all this together with his dreams, ghosts, murdered children, occult architecture. He's trying to figure out how they all connect. He starts to puzzle out that the arch of a cathedral is actually a spirit antenna to project souls spiritually to the heavens. And he's like, could you do that for evil? He's figuring it out. The world's greatest detective. In an earlier issue, we found out that Bruce Wayne as a child was in this school where Mr. Whisper worked, and he had to get out of that school. He got punished by Mr. Whisper, and he just had to get out. And his father comes to get him out, and he has a discussion with Mr. Whisper. And he said that his father was pale when he came out. And they don't tell you that here, but it's explained later. Grant Morrison, he gives you pieces and clues and sets it up to where later on, you'll read a page later on and you'll be, oh, that's what it was all about. Well, that's really great stuff. He goes home, and this is beautiful writing. He goes home, his father's happy he's home from the school, and he's, let's go see a movie tonight. There's your psychological trauma from Batman's past that interweaves into this tale perfectly. If you're going to tie Batman's origin to a story, I think that was one of the most perfect ways of doing it. Shout out to Morrison. You're at the cathedral, great shot. Looming, just overpowering with the inks, great stuff. Then you get to Klaus Janson. Great coloring here with the light. Mr. Whisper's down in the basement. He's actually working at the cathedral. He's opening a time capsule. And he has there's a piece of cord in there. And this cord is important. I'm going to tell you why. Actually, Mr. Whisper will tell you why later on. And then we segue to, this is a meeting place that gangster from the beginning was going to meet at. And you get Batman coming in, looking for Morgenstern, and love the horror shot of Batman. It's hard to scare Batman like that. That's been done a few times in this story, and I love it. It brings a whole different perspective to the danger that he's facing. Great artwork, great coloring. I love how everything's done purposefully. And I love how Batman is using his cowl to cover himself. It's like covers in your bed when you're children and you're scared. You know how the covers make you feel safe? They really do. And this kind of mimics that feeling. That's great writing and artwork. Mr. Whisper, he did all this. They start fighting it out. Really a battle for souls, if you really think about it. That's amazing. He just caught his... He's fast. He just drops his cigarette and catches it. That shows that he has some power. He's more than just immortal. He's fast. He's strong. Batman using the body to break his fall. He's got our guy. He puts him in a pretty typical Batman type trap. He starts revealing more of the origin of this story. And there is I think April 30th, there is a festival called Walpurgisnacht, Night of the Witch. And what he's telling them leads to this thing, but he sets it up with, first he's telling them that something's going to happen and is going to kill a bunch of people. But he tells him about the death trap he's in. But he's literally telling him that he likes him. And he knows he's Bruce Wayne. And he hasn't unmasked him, probably magical way of knowing his identity. I love how they do that with no unmasking. He just knows. Because it's that mystical realm. He tells him that after he made his deal with the devil, he had to find a way to escape. When he immediately knew that he was going to make it. He binds his shadow to this soul cord that they call it. And the symbolism of that is he's not, without a shadow, you're not truly human. You don't conform to the physics of a human. You were human when you made your deal with the devil, and you have to be human for the devil to collect. There's a lot to that. You can go down a rabbit hole with research on some of this stuff, but that was what some of my research led me to. And it's more than Batman battling with his fists and gadgets. It's a meditation on guilt, damnation, and the cost of cheating death. Mr. Whisper explains that when he found out that he really couldn't die, that he collected all the plague-infested bodies, brought them with him to Gotham, and built the cathedral based on mystical properties of channeling souls after they die. And to accomplish this, he put the plague into the glass in the cathedrals. Once that glass breaks, it will release the pneumonic plague into the atmosphere. He mentions that to keep his soul cord where the devil can't see it, and to just create this magical, he has to have sacraments, and that explains why he did what he did in the boarding school with the students. And he tells Batman that he was going to be the 8th victim, and he escaped it. And he also explains that his father, this explains why his father was pale in the face when he took Bruce home, was that Mr. Whisper said, your father could see right through me like glass, and he knew what I was doing, but no proof. He just knows. That's why he was pale. That's that setup that Morrison does, where he gives you a little niblet, and then later on, bit, he tells you why. And it's a great reveal the way he does it. Our guy, he's left here. Look at this shot. Out. Boom, boom. Next up, we're going to have issue 10. To just outro this guy, Batman is he's wrestling also with the darkness that's inside of him, with his trauma as a child, and also the physical things on the outside. Great issue. Going to close it out with issue 10.